Hey gang, Julia Usher here. Welcome to my second competition Q&A of the 2026 competition season. Today I'm here with the headline sponsor, one of our sponsors in our new category, and we'll be learning all about her business. But before we do that, I want to give a quick overview of my competition for those not familiar with it. I did go through this material in my last interview, so if you've seen it, you can skip on ahead to when I introduce the sponsor, but it is good general review, and it might serve as reinforcement to those that have already heard it. First of all, the competition is online. It's been online for the last few years, which means it's open to anyone, anywhere in the world, from beginner to advanced decorator. So you don't need to be a professional to enter. We introduced a beginner intermediate category a few years ago, so it's a great entry point for those new to cookie decorating to get involved and test their skills. We also accept entries in both 2D and 3D cookie categories. The definitions for our skill level classifications and our cookie categories are all on my site, Cookie Connection, which is the home base for the competition, under our competition overview post. So first and foremost, I encourage everybody to read that. There'll be a link to it underneath this video. But basically, 2D cookies are ones that you characteristically think of, flat cookies that lay on a plate. And 3D cookies are constructed cookie projects. They require a minimum of 12 cookies in the construction, and they must view well from all angles. The judges will be looking at it from all sides. So that's the basic distinction. There is a $15 USD registration fee, which is just a declaration of your intent to enter. But the other advantage is once you register, you get access to the online entry databases, which is where you'll upload your entry. You'll be uploading photographs and a video of it and some verbiage. And it's really a good idea to look at those entry databases before you even start creating, so you know exactly what you need to capture as you move through the decorating process. For instance, we call for some work in process photos, and you want to make sure you have those ready by the time of entry. Unlike some other competitions, our competition requires fresh work for it, and entries must be designed to fit the theme. This year, it's Architect of Your Dreams. And in my last video, Laura Perotti and I talked a lot about the theme. I encourage you to listen to that. And the competition overview, again, has a description of the theme in it. I encourage you to register early for the reasons noted. A, it helps me with planning, but B, you get access to those entry databases that I spoke of. And we're sitting here in mid-March, so you've still got plenty of time to enter, to create those entries. They aren't due until May 31st. Okay, so why compete? People often ask me that question, and again, I touched on this last time. This slide is written from my perspective, but I think many of the goals of a competition parallel what entrants might be thinking about. First, I love to celebrate cookie artists. I think that broad celebration of our community gives it visibility within the larger sugar arts community and within mainstream communities as well. And in the process of giving people visibility and applauding them on their accomplishments, we showcase new techniques and talents which advance the state of cookie art. For entrants in particular, I really try to create an unparalleled learning experience with my competition, and that comes through really incredible feedback given by our judges. Because we are online, we have more time to write the feedback than if we were sitting at a physical show where the feedback needs to be delivered within the course of the day. I often take 2 to 3 weeks to compile the feedback from all of my judges, so people get quite a lot of useful information that will facilitate their learning and growing. This is really an investment in yourself. It's an opportunity to step aside from the day-to-day business or day-to-day routine that you're in and really push those skills in a risk-free environment. We also have great prizes thanks to our judges and our sponsors rather, and we'll be talking about some of our judges are sponsors too. So thanks to our sponsors, we'll be talking about those prizes in a bit. But honestly, it's not whether you win or lose, it's really what you take away from the process, and I want to underscore that today. This is going to be my last competition ever because if you hadn't heard, I'm retiring from cookie decorating at the end of 2026. So even though I always try to make every competition better than the one that preceded it, this year I'm really going all out. And one of the ways that I've done that is I've brought on an exclusive media partner for the first time. This is Kelly Jane of Delicious Magazine, and we'll be hearing from her in our next interview this coming Friday. I'll film it and it'll probably air next week. One of the things that she's enabled us to do is she's brought prizes to the table and benefits to the table for our sponsors. So we've introduced a new headline sponsor category where those sponsors who commit to that highest level are given exposure in her magazine through various features and advertising. And we'll be talking to, as I said, one of those headline sponsors in just a sec. Kelly Jane's also brought additional prizes to the table. All entrants will receive a discounted 1-year subscription to her magazine. All winners will get the magazine for free for a year. All winners will also get a group feature, so all 12 will be featured in the magazine at once. And then the top 4 winners, I'm holding up 3 fingers, I should be holding up 4, will get individual features in the magazine, which is pretty cool. So there's some nice exposure that comes from this if you win. And speaking of those prizes, we're up to 23,000 already. I'm still actively involved in discussions with several, so I expect that number to go up and hit an all-time competition record. Many thanks to all of our sponsors. You will be meeting all of the sponsors in various ways over the course of the next couple of months. I'm doing in-depth interviews with my special sponsors who have contributed to the highest level, and the sponsor that we're speaking with today is someone I always love to chat with. It is Deb Coughlin, founder and owner of Icing Images. She's been a longtime sponsor of the competition, and I'm just thrilled to have her back today. Right now, I'm going to introduce Deb, bring her on to the video, and have her tell us a little bit about how her business started, and so she'll be asking me some questions about the competition too, I understand. So here we go. Hey, Deb.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. Sorry I took a little bit
Yeah,
longer on that intro than planned, but here you are.
it wasn't that long. It's all good information. And definitely you're one that's worth waiting for. And I just want to thank you for allowing me this opportunity. It's rare opportunity that you get one-on-one time with Julia Usher, and be able to just spend that time getting to know her and or you. I should be talking to you, um, and I just consider it a huge honor, a huge honor. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for being here. We did this for the first time, I think, last year, and I just had a lot of fun with it. So I was eagerly looking forward to today.
Well, I want to also thank you for putting on this competition. It's a ton of work. It's something I could never do. So we're grateful for people like you that have the organization level and the commitment. It's a huge commitment, and thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. It is a lot of work, but I enjoy it. And as I said, celebrating the community is something that really motivates me. And it's kind of like Christmas. Every time the entries start rolling in, just seeing what people do with the theme it's really fun for me, and it's fun for the judges. So it keeps us growing and learning too, because we constantly see new things. But anyway,
Yeah,
back to you. We got a slide up here. And
yeah. I thought this time I'd talk a little bit about like what makes icing images icing images. I don't know if you know, we've been in business for over 26 years, and it just kind of blows me away. First of all, how fast that time
Mhm.
has gone by. And they say the older you get, the faster it goes by, and wow. So in preparing, I started the business. And I had a 1 year old at the time, and it was my dad's 70th birthday, and I couldn't find anybody to put an image on a cake. And I searched and I searched and I searched, and I finally found this company about an hour away called Little Bits. They're our customer now, which is really funny to me. And they were at the See Me retreat. We got to spend a lot of good time together, and it's just reminiscing. It's just so cool. And my dad gave me $500. That's my parents up in the corner. They've had a huge influence and impact on my business with their ethics and vision and things like that. Borrowed $500 from my dad, started the business, and the printer that's in the upper right hand corner is one of the printers we started with. It had 2 cartridges, and I mean, I'll go on and on. I can go on and just how um, archaic it is now, because things that have improved a lot. And we have edible paper printers that have 4 color and they're vibrant prints, and there's different kinds of paper. And even now to today, we will talk about it more a little bit later, but
Mhm.
our blue food printer, that is that was a dream to be able to work with a manufacturer and say, look, I know that cartridges are expensive for customers. I want bulk ink. So you can pour that ink in and you can save all that money. I want vibrant colors. I want ease of use. I want
Wow.
boom, 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 boom. And that's the culmination, the blue food printers. And it's far exceeded expectation. It blows me away still every day. And you'll see some of the customers' work and the things that they've created. And every time I see something new, it blows me away. It's the dream, you know. I'm
Mhm.
living the dream, but given a printer that people
I
can
think I
really
had that one at the top. It was just a normal. When I started in edible printing, I just bought a normal like printer for printing on paper, but I subbed in like edible ink cartridges. And I tell you, it was like
yeah.
the most frustrating thing. Just as your like normal printer jams, so did it. I didn't last in with that printer very long. So,
Yeah, that was crazy back then, and that was good. It's just
yeah, yeah.
your success levels with the printers and things are just grow and grow every year. And now it's kind of more, I don't want to say dangerous to grab your own printer and get your inks, because there's so many different ink suppliers out there that aren't
Hmm.
necessarily following FDA guidelines.
Oh, interesting.
It's Yeah, it has to do with like marketplace on
Hmm.
Amazon. It's There's people on there and their ink bottles say not for edible use, but they're selling it for edible use.
Yeah.
So you got to
Oh.
be real careful these days.
Mhm.
Internet's brought great things and also the ability to mess with you.
Do you sell
Um,
the ink to go with the Big Blue? Is it like
oh yeah,
specially? Yeah.
yeah. So we sell edible paper. We got like 6 different types of edible papers now. We got edible inks. This is our specialty, the edible printing and anything to do along with it.
Hmm.
Um, we have some cool things coming out later this year that I was hoping to talk about with you today, but it's still top secret. But just
Oh,
keep watching.
so I can't
Yeah,
like I can't coax it out of you
no,
today.
you can't.
Okay. Okay. So
um,
what about these people on the bottom left here?
That's my office staff,
Mm-hmm.
and we have other people who are not in the office, but this is our core people who really make a difference. And you've talked to probably many of them, people who are watching. And this picture was actually taken years ago, and I found this, and I'm like, wow, like everybody's still here. We just hired one person, and I put
Crazy.
her in the back. But so I did a little bit of,
Oh, did you?
because we
Oh, wait.
had,
The woman between the two women, is she photoshopped in?
yeah, she is. I did the best I could, but
No,
I
it's hard
just
to
was so,
tell.
yeah, I was blown away that the core of our office, other than the growth, um, has stayed the same. And like Dana, who's standing next to me, she retired and came back. She didn't last 6 months without us.
Yeah, I mean that's
So
unheard of. I don't know of any business other than yours that can really boast that. So, but I think that speaks to you as a company. I mean, I get and you as an individual because I subscribe to your newsletter, and each time I read it just to be refreshed and rejuvenated and
oh
encouraged and uplifted. Because it's so supportive of the community and I think
yeah.
that's I imagine I can only imagine those values manifest themselves within your day-to-day operations, and it's probably the reason why your employees have hung around for so long. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, yeah. It's the people that make the difference. It's not, we are all have the same values. I tend to hire people with the same values, and they're hardworking individuals. They love what they do. They're committed to customer service, and that's what we want: quality customer service.
Hmm.
And they thrive off of everybody in the industry and seeing the successes. They really do. So it's a very good group together. And the next slide shows us our travel team,
Okay, moving
and we're a
there.
little bit goofy. We kind of are ourselves, and have a lot of fun. Um, and we have people in all different genres, whether it's cake, cookies, manufacturing, even. Susan Trianos is in there with her statue of herself holding her product,
Yeah.
and we just have fun. And these are the people that I will take new products and throw them at them and say, "What do you think?" And I seek their advice, but they travel with us to the shows, and that's where we make um, our that's where we meet people and build relationships, because we get to see our customers and the people we talk online, and many of these people are answering questions online, and everybody's just so committed to the business. We really are. And I'm very blessed, and I hope that travels on to all our customers who are blessed by these people too, who help to form Icing Images just as much as the office staff.
Mhm.
And our biggest product, that I mean, you can see it all around me. It's the blue food printer, and not everybody here has one because of where their businesses are. But actually, it's everybody but two. Two of them are not
Mhm.
decorators; they're an admin, because of where their businesses are, but they're involved in it, and because it's just so much fun to do. But as I said, this printer has revolutionized edible printing and allowed people to do things that they haven't been able to do in scales, and fix their businesses so they're not spending as much time and money, giving them quality of life or the option to build your business more and do more work. But it's an amazing machine. But let's go ahead and cue that up, and it's just
Okay.
going to summarize everything.
Okay, so this is coming up as a video, which we'll play, right?
Yep.
Coming up.
5 things you should look out for if you're looking to buy a printer that prints directly on food. First, and most importantly, customer service. You want to make sure that you're never left alone. 2, you want a printer that comes with a laptop with the software fully installed. 3, cost per print. Most printers are an investment already, so you don't want to buy one that consistently drains your wallet. And to do that, look for a printer that uses ink tanks instead of ink cartridges. They can save you a lot of money and bring your cost per print down to under a penny. 4, saves time. You want a printer that can run independently so that way you can multitask and get more things done at once. And 5, print quality, which is an obvious one. To get good print quality, you want to make sure that the printer uses all 4 colors to print. Cyan, magenta, yellow, and this one's most important, black. If it doesn't use black, the print may not have good quality colors no matter what the screen shows. If you can check all those boxes with your purchase, you're setting yourself up for success.
Okay.
Yep. So it really checks off all the quality boxes. The best thing, I think, because I am way over busy, and if I was decorating, and I see a lot of my decorating friends up all night,
Mm-hmm.
with aching hands and aching shoulders, and they're just working so hard, and this becomes a tool. It's not, doesn't necessarily, it can replace decorating, but it's another tool in their tool bags to help improve their lifestyle and their business.
Mm-hmm.
So I just
Yes.
really thrive on people's successes with it, and that's what's been so much fun to watch.
Would you like to? The next slide shows some of what people have created with it. I think that and I'll move to it. I think one of the things to set it up that's really extraordinary is like how inventive and creative people can be with the edible printer. I mean, I think sometimes there's this misconception you just program an image in there and it spits it out on a cookie, but what people are creating is really layered and designed, and
Mm-hmm.
often mixed media too. So this edible printing might just be an aspect of it. So anything you want to add to?
Yeah, and we can show that while we're chatting because there's
Okay.
no sound to it. It's just I've collected over the year many of our customers' images, and they're what we call in a blue brag board, which gets published in our email every week. And we just grab those are M&Ms, by the way.
Oh wow.
So,
Look at those.
yeah,
No, what? Wait, yeah.
those are marshmallows. Those are, I think, our cookies, and you can see the depth in which people will overpipe. They'll
Uh huh.
add, as you said, mixed media. It's just, while it can be used for
Excellent.
getting
Yeah.
large, I know it's cute, large amount of images out at once.
Beautiful.
It's the creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love that one. I love the dogs. I'm a dog
Yeah.
person.
I mean, it's like any other tool. You think back to stenciling used to be like the big, a big thing, a big ease, a big time saver in terms of transferring images onto cookies. And this just takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah, it really does. And we really try to put as much value as we can with it. We work with people from cottage bakers all the way up to manufacturing because we have different size machines. And some of the products that are printed with the blue are actually in stores. You go to Target and Walmart. It blows me away. It's in grocery stores. It's just pretty amazing. But we're committed to the service and the quality, and I think that's what really makes the difference. Is we constantly come out with ways to improve it, and we offer an amazing training. It's one-on-one, and it's custom to what those are M&Ms too.
Yes,
The M&Ms anyway.
yeah.
the the training is actually custom to what you create. So we tell you bring what you print on, you bring cookies, you bring cake, whatever you bring, that's what we're printing on, so that we can prepare you to work the best with your medium.
So those trainings happen on, some of these are incredible. These trainings happen on Zoom. Is that how it works, or
Yeah, well,
in person, or?
yeah, they're online like that. So part of it's computer related, where you're just going through, this is what this is called, this is what this is called. And then you go one-on-one online, and we walk you through everything. And the software is easy. Basically, you use whatever you want to create your graphic in, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then the rest of it is actually loaded into a laptop, which is included, and it's basically creating your template and printing. It's very easy.
Wow. Now tell me a little bit. You got two printers behind you, one's smaller and one's bigger. What are the primary differences? If somebody was out looking for an edible printer, what are the primary differences between the two? And when would you direct someone to one printer versus the other?
That's a very good question. And these are actually both the same size. One's just further back.
Oh, okay.
But this one's the older version. This one's the newer version. It has a touch screen on it. But we do have 4 sizes. And we basically, the biggest thing we want to know is whether or not you're going to use this printer. It's not like you're buying a Cricut or something small, but still several hundred dollars is small. This is an investment. It's worth it because people pay it off quickly, and then the cost to use is really down low. So it's like they pay it off, and it's like free printing forever. But we have 4 sizes. The little blue is based on a quarter sheet print bed. The big blue is based on a half sheet print bed. The Big Blue XL is a full sheet print bed, and then the Mega is like a 30 by 40. That's more for manufacturing.
Mm-hmm. And when you say sheet bed, you mean like a sheet tray, or?
Yeah, like the sheet pan.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's kind of how we gauge people. And usually it's always between 2. So depending on where they are, but we tell people go and take out a quarter sheet pan and a half sheet pan, lay out what you're going to do the most to give you a visual as to which printer you think will be best. The print beds also drop down. So the little blue only drops down like 3.5 inches. It's more for cookies, cupcakes, smaller items. The Big Blue, the XL, and the Mega all drop down 7.5 inches. So you can put cakes. You saw drinks in there printing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it gives you a lot of versatility, and there's other things that are included that we kind of go through to try to figure out what's best for the customer. But we like to consult with people as much as we can. We want people to make the best decision, and we have told people not to get them. This is not the right printer for you, not yet. This is how you get there, and then we can work with you and find the best fit.
Thanks. That's helpful. Anything else here to say about the work here? It is really remarkable. I was distracted. I had questions for you, and I lost my train of thought because I was distracted by some gorgeous cookies scrolling by.
The cookies. I really have a lot of fun with this. I take a lot of pride with this, and still all our other edible printers, including the edible paper printers. And I think the biggest thing is, we thrive on the success of others. And so we really get to know our customers. The customers name their printers. And it's fun. It's like, what are you going to name it? What'd you name it? We've got all kinds of names out there, and people change their names depending on the personality of the printer. But and we have a Blue owners group too, and so that allows people to get together and talk about things that help them and give advice and things like that.
And is that a
So
Facebook group, or how is that structured?
it is a Facebook group,
Mm-hmm.
and it's private. Nobody else can get in. We do have a Facebook group for the Blue printer that's open, so that people who have questions can come there and ask the owners rather than asking just us. And that works well as well, because we want people to understand the full picture. I don't like to just sell a machine. I like to create a relationship and help build a business with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all comes full cycle, because I'm sure some of those conversations in those groups also illuminate things for you, things that you can be working on, whatever the next generation might be. So, yeah, everybody benefits from that, I think.
Yeah. So
Okay, so I was trying to coax you the new developments out of you, but I don't think that's
no,
good enough. Okay.
it won't work, but it's going to blow you away.
And when is that going to be announced?
I'm pushing. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I wanted it for this. I didn't get my way. That's okay. I've learned to be patient, but it's coming. And just keep reading our emails. If you want to join our email list, it's right on our website. I put out emails every week. They're personally written. Sometimes they're text. Yeah, sometimes it's about this week. The one I wrote was about a wedge that I saw underneath a dresser at a hotel, and it just, for whatever reason, got into my head that somebody actually at a hotel. It's just my thoughts go everywhere. So it's whatever you get.
Yeah, I mean, I read them religiously, because they generally just put me in a good mood. It's just something uplifting, as I said, always. So I appreciate those.
Thank you so much.
So are we ready for the next slide?
Yes, I think we are.
So this is the point in the conversation where I asked my featured guest to ask me questions, typically competition related, whose answers might help out entrants and that kind of thing. But Deb sent me this slide that's mostly pictures of me. And so we are going to see what she has to say about that and what questions that raises. These are classics.
Yeah. So this, I know you are very humble, and that this is probably very hard for you. But you're retiring, and you have made a huge difference in our industry, and you've inspired a lot of people. And this competition, it's more important than people realize. And we can talk a little bit about that later. But I know that you and Carrie Vincent, through doing research, I really stalked you. I went all the way back as far as I could in your Facebook history.
Yeah, I know. The picture of my family up there. I don't think I ever publicly broadcast that one too much, because the picture of me is ridiculous.
I just think you're funny. That's why I blew up the face of that one picture.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What is going on in that picture that you're not smiling?
I don't know. I've never loved photographs, though. You can see that even in the photograph above it. That's my sister and my mom above it. My sister with the little bow in her hair or whatever. And I'm in the front being really serious about my cookie.
It's so funny. And then what I noticed too is the picture of you, your profile picture. You have used that. I went back over 10 years.
Yeah, it's an old one.
Yeah, but you would never know.
Oh, really?
It's like you never changed.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that might be 20 years old now.
Yeah, it's a while.
I'm afraid to update it. So I've never had a picture I've liked, and I liked that one. So it stays.
It's just so funny, because it's like, it's you, and it's still you 20 years later. You can turn your head to the side and do that pose, and it would still be you. You just have to.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So,
sadly, I don't. Unlike Zoom, I don't have a filter on this Ecamm Live presentation. In Zoom, I have a filter on, so it smooths the wrinkles. Here today, you might see a few more, so because they're there.
I'm looking. I don't know. And I know through reading that I believe this cookie, I'm pointing to it so you can all see it. The cookie, 3D cookie tier that's in the lower left
Yeah.
when you were working there, that
Yeah.
was your favorite at one point? Did I read that right?
Oh, I don't know. I had fun with that one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I was working on it about the time I was featured. What was that feature? The picture behind it was a feature, I think, in Where Women. Oh, I think it was in Where Women Create. Do you know that? It's a Stampington publication. I love those magazines. They're beautiful. But or Where Women Cook. So they have two. They have
Yeah.
Where Women Create, which like showcases all these really cool studios of various artists, and Where Women Cook. I think that magazine no longer exists, but this is what that was for. I think I don't remember, but yeah. So I was working on the project at that time, so it ended up being a prop in that photo shoot.
Yeah, and it you really love that cookie, or that cookie
Structure, yeah, yeah.
as again, I was stalking you, and how amount of times I saw that posted, and some of the things that you talked about in the creation of it. That was a big part of your life. That's what I saw.
Yeah, well, it kind of captures a lot of things that I at the time that I was experimenting with that were kind of new at the time,
Yeah.
which were contoured cookies. Most of the coatings on those cookies are royal icing, so they're not actually all of them. So they're not covered with fondant, which is the easier approach. They're all dipped in royal icing, and they're pretty much perfectly smooth. The other cool thing about it was, and I've subsequently experimented with that, but if you see those little flowers at the base, they're actually
Hmm.
royal icing transfers all assembled together. And so they're dimensional. You can't really tell from this front view, but from the side, they're actually kind of lifted up. So that was the start of my botanical series. I since did a lot of more representational, more realistic flowers that are comprised
Hmm.
completely of royal icing transfers. So completely impractical, probably from a commercial standpoint, but really fun and really challenging from just a design and technique standpoint, which kind of loops back to the competition, like why you might compete. You might not be able to do your competition pieces in practice commercially, but they're a great way to just like test things you haven't tried
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. And
I,
did you know that with the Blue Food printer, this is funny, you can print your own royal icing transfers now.
oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So neat.
Yeah. Sorry, I just kind of came around because you said royal transfers.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah.
and I know through reading with you that Carrie Vincent was a huge part of where you are today. And that
Yes.
doesn't surprise me because you're very like similar in your mannerisms and the perfection, the attention to detail.
She
Um,
yeah, I love Carrie. I love Carrie to this day. We miss her deeply. But she's the reason I have the competition, actually, and that's me in the
yeah.
bottom pictured with her. That was maybe in 2013. She originally invited. I got to know her because I had a cake shop, and I read her books, and Colette Peters' books were like the only ones published at that time, and it was almost like pre-internet, so you weren't going to blogs and things like that. I was devouring
Hmm.
these books, and so she was my source of inspiration. When I closed my cake shop, I wanted to write a cake book. Well, that didn't happen for various reasons, and I ended up writing cookie books. And there weren't really any cookie artists around that time to seek a book endorsement from, and the publisher really loves to get those little blurbs on the back page of the
Yeah.
back flaps of the book. So I thought, well, let me reach out to Carrie. I reached out to Carrie and also Colette, and they both blurbed my book. So I was overjoyed by that. And then I guess I don't know what it was, but Carrie must have seen something in that she liked, because the next year she invited me to judge her Oklahoma State Sugar Art Show. And I had been out of cakes for a period of time. So I was like, I felt a little imposter syndrome going in there because I was working in cookies by that point because I had been working on that cookie book for so long. But I judged cakes, and she had a tiny little cookie category at the time. I also did a big presentation at that show, and I brought a couple of cookie friends with me because she
Hmm.
does big demos. She did big demos at her show, I think Bronwyn Weber was next to me doing some like massive like dragon cake, and
Probably.
I was trying to make my cookies, seem of similar scale. It was it was really hard, but I had quite a setup. Um, so anyway, that was at that show, and then a year or two later, she emailed me and said and basically said she emailed me and basically said, I want you to run. She basically sent me like the literature for the next show, and it had listed the cookie competition and it had my name on it. It was Julia Muncher's cookie art competition. It had already been published. Like, she hadn't even asked me. She said, this is yours, you're going to run it. And so that's how the competition has its name. It's not like I felt like it wasn't like I felt I needed to attach my name to it. It was because she had attached it to it. And I don't know. And as much as I love Carrie, I wanted to preserve the history and origins of the competition. So it ran there in person until she retired, and she passed away, I think, the next year. And then COVID hit and we went online. So that's the basic story there. But it was named by her. And to this day, we have a Carrie Vincent Best in Show Award. It's my tribute to her. So one person out of the whole pack that enters will win some special prizes and recognition in honor of Carrie. So, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I have her. When you walk in my office, it's like these certain magazines or pictures of things from that really stood out in my life. And Carrie's Cake Central magazine is there, and it's signed and a picture of us and stuff. So it's awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah.
People really. So Julia, many people know you as a leader in the cookie world, but your journey really began long before that. You studied mechanical engineering at Yale. I was like, wow, but it makes sense in structure. You graduated as valedictorian of Cambridge School of Culinary Arts, and you built this community that you have influenced decorators all over the world. And I hope you allow, this is kind of what I wanted to do, and it's working. Okay. I'm thankful that I wanted to turn the tables, and I appreciate you allowing me to do that and ask you some questions so that we can just understand a little more about the person, you, behind the journey.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Question number one. I should have my little note here. Over the decades, you've built an entire community of artists, teachers, and businesses through your work. Many of us here are here because of something you shared or inspired us or helped us grow. And as you look around this community that exists today, what does it mean to you to see the ripple effect of something that you started many, many years ago?
Ooh, that's a big question.
I know.
First of all, I guess I would say I appreciate all of that. I appreciate the framing of that question. I think it's really generous, though, because I don't look at it as if I started something. I look at it as that maybe I built upon something that already existed. At the time that I started in cookies in earnest, I wrote my first book in 2009, and then and the second one in 2011, and then shortly after that, YouTube began to really take off, and I got really entrenched in a cookie community on YouTube. There were probably 4 or 5 of us. Sweet Am's was one, Honey Ella's was another, Montreal Confections was another. I'm forgetting some, but we used to do YouTube collaborations. So at that time, Sweetopia was also around the time I was writing my book. Sweetopia was somebody who was really active with a blog. And so I connected with her really, really early on in the process. So I felt like the community wasn't what it was today, but there were 4 or 5 people who were pretty visible. I'm sure there were hundreds or thousands more that were doing cookies in their homes, but hadn't moved to a blog or to a public platform. But I connected with those who had, and we learned a lot from each other. And those collaborations on YouTube were particularly instructive because we were often working with a company, or we just challenge ourselves. Here's the theme that we want to express in our next set of videos, and we'd all come together and do something, and we'd kind of ooh and ah, and we'd learn techniques from each other that way. So I always felt I was part of a community. It was smaller then, and I think we've all it's just amazing to see that the community has grown to the extent that it has. It's huge now. I mean, you can look around there at like so many incredible cookie decorators, and I'm just grateful to have been around long enough to see that history and growth, because that's pretty exciting. I think people stepping in today don't always understand that it
Right.
wasn't always so developed, you know. But as with any kind of art form, I think we're all growing and building upon things we've already seen. So, and even then, actually one of my favorite techniques early on was rubber stamping, and I think it's on cookies because I think I saw Martha Stewart do it in like one of her magazines years before. So long story short is, I guess I just there are a lot of people to thank in terms of where the industry is today, and I'm just one little cog in that wheel in my view of the world. So
Yeah, but your view isn't the same to everybody else. You
well,
made a
thank you.
huge difference, and you've and a lot of people have. It's not, and I agree. You're definitely not the only one. There's so many people out there, but you've carried on the Carrie Vincent legacy, and I know a lot of people watching this probably have no idea who she is.
Right.
Um,
And they
yeah,
should.
when we've been along for so long, you
Mhm.
know, uh, it adds up. And it's
Mhm.
like, so I'm looking at you as I see the depth of your background and how far it's and how long it's been around and the inspiration you've given to others. So, yeah, of course, there are others for sure, but you've made a huge impact yourself.
Well, thank
So,
you.
this brings me to question two.
Okay.
If you could go back to speak to the younger version of you, little Julia in the picture, um,
Oh God.
maybe the student that graduated from culinary school, maybe it's the you said you told me this that you received your diploma from Julia Childs.
I did.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and and tell her that one day thousands of artists around you would have learned from you and be inspired by you, or the younger version of you. What do you think she would say? So a little picture of her. What would that
Yeah.
little girl
Well,
say?
I would say that little girl, with her doing whatever she was doing with her mouth, would probably not would say, I can't imagine that, because at that time, those two pictures at the top are pretty contemporary in terms of, yeah, maybe I was a little bit older than the one to the left, but I was very much like dad's little girl. When I growing up, very much into math and science, hence the mechanical engineering degree. So I think, till I was into my mid 20s, I always thought I'd be doing something in the science field. And though I love to create, and my mom had a real aptitude for creating, my mom had a real aptitude mostly for, it's interesting because I have a little bit of mom and dad. So definitely dad's math and science skills, but mom did the most amazing like table presentations, very good at arranging, gardening, kind of collecting objects. Not a painter or an artist in that sense, but an artist in terms of arranging things. And I feel like my cookie art is kind of that way too. It's more of a construction than it is a painting or something, So anyway, I had both elements of them in me for a very long time. But at that time, I would have said highly improbable that I would be doing anything in the baking sphere because I really thought I'd be an engineer, and I was for a while. So when I graduated from college, I worked for GE Nuclear Power for 3 years. I got a master's degree from UC Berkeley through that program. And I worked, so I worked in that job for 3 years. It was a work study program. And then I went into business. So I've had multiple careers. I'm kind of a serial career changer, if you will, which kind of explains where I'm at right now. I've been in cookies longer than anything else. I really enjoyed it. I really love love being considered an artist now, because it was nothing I ever considered that I would be, and all those years of engineering and working in business, I just felt like that creative side of me was there, but not fully expressed. And so now to hear people call me that, that to me it's just very heartwarming, and it's meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
But as with my other careers, typically I typically work really hard. I do a lot. I challenge myself, and then it's like time to move on. So, because I'm on to the next challenge or interest, and that's sort of where I feel I'm at right now. So I don't know if I
Yeah.
answered that, but I think she would have been kind of in disbelief that I'm in the career that I was in, in.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
glad to have been there for sure. So
Yeah. And so that kind of leads us into question three. You have built something that's going to continue long after you stepped away. And yes, you're a part of a cog, but your little piece of that ingredient, is going to be there all the time. You've influenced a lot of people. When you think about the future of this community and the legacy you're leaving behind, what do you hope the next generation carries forward?
oh, good. Well, I hope I leave a legacy behind. This world is so, the attention span is so short. You see something on social media and you're distracted and then you're on to the next thing. So, you know, I would hope I would have some kind of impact. I'm not so sure about that. But what I would want people to remember is that I think this also plays into who you are as a person, I think. I want people to know that, as much as they chase likes and following on social media by putting out like I was very much like feeling the pressure of this, like my last creation, generated so many likes or wows or whatever on social media. My self-worth was very much tied into that. And then with that came the pressure to have the next project be that much better. So decorating became less fun and more pressure for me. So I guess what I want people to remember is that, people are unlikely to remember your last creation because something is always coming next. But what they will remember is how you treated them or how you helped them learn and grow. And it's your behaviors, it's your interactions, it's the sense of community you develop that I think really has the most enduring impact. I do believe
Mm-hmm.
that. And that's in
Yeah.
part why, I don't know if it was ever this decisive, but that's in part, because Carrie handed me a competition, but over time I began to realize that the competition was kind of my way of serving the community, my way of giving some of myself to people. And I just encourage people to do that. Don't look at your colleagues as your competitors. Look at them as your friends. Look at them as people you can learn and grow from, and vice
Yes.
versa. The more generous you are, the more it comes back to you in terms of feeling good
Mhm.
about yourself or other intangibles. So, yeah, create and have fun creating. Don't let it overwhelm you. Don't get caught up in comparing on social media, and make sure you're generous with who you are and those skills that you have. Those are my
I love
lessons.
that. I love that. I really love that.
Good, good. Yeah,
Oh,
it's true. I
but
mean,
yeah,
I feel that way.
yeah,
So, well,
yeah.
those were some challenging questions. Do you have any more for me? I hope not. They're
No,
hard.
I just no, I do, but I don't think we're going to go on like forever. But I know that many of us here, we're a part of the ripple effect of your work that you started, and I just want to thank you for sharing not just your techniques, but your standards and discipline. I think
Thank
is
you.
important, and your vision for what this craft could become. So, thank
I
you
want
for
to
that.
add. I want to add one thing to what I would leave behind too. It's recognizing the people that have gotten you where you are, and it can be as little as like a technique that you've used in your work. I've always been an advocate of like giving credit where credit is due, and
Yes.
building up the community in that way. I've seen relationships tumble in the cookie world because people have co-opted others' ideas and techniques, and that there's nothing to be gained from that. So again, it comes back to being generous with the community and being generous with those that have taught you stuff. Just acknowledge. I think it's really important. So
Yeah. It's okay that you weren't the inventor of something. You've taken it to the next step,
yeah,
and giving that person the credit from before honors them as you would want to be honored, and then shows, hey, you've inspired me to do this, and then you're going to do that one day for the next person who's going to take your idea
yeah.
and take it that step
I mean,
further.
that's how an industry grows, right? It's building on each other in a cooperative, really collaborative way. When things crumble, it's when people get competitive or withholding of information, and yeah. So
Yeah. Yep, definitely, definitely. Competition can be a good thing, and that's what you really want. How you use it is
Mhm.
the learn and the growth and the push for you to further better yourself and taking things to the next level and
Yeah, so
share.
my statement there said when things crumble, it's when people get competitive with one another, and I mean that in the sense of just I don't mean that in the sense of my competition. Let's be clear on that,
Yeah,
because
no, I know.
I use the same word. It's a competition, but I view my competition as an opportunity for people to step in and really challenge themselves. It's really a competition with yourself. Like, I haven't tried these new things, so I want to try them here. I actually encourage people to come and it's easy because the competition's online. I encourage people to come in with blinders on. Don't worry about what somebody else might be creating or how they
Right.
might be interpreting the theme. Just do you, because typically when people do themselves and their piece speaks of something personal, tells their story, our themes often encourage storytelling. Their best work is done. So that's how I view it. And if you happen to win at the end of the day and get some portion of these great prizes, awesome. But that's not really the point. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let's move off me. I've seen a lot of whoops. This one. Okay. So I wanted to thank you. Because we're rounding up here, I wanted to take a moment to thank you for being such an incredible sponsor, not just this year, but all of many recent years. This year, as I mentioned early on, people listening, Deb jumped into our headline sponsor level, which is new this year. So she's one of the companies that's contributing to the highest of levels to the competition. And this is just a little bit of a preview of her prizes. She'll be offering gift certificates of these denominations 4 times over, because we have 12 winners. We have first, second, and third in 4 different categories. We've got beginner, intermediate 2D, advanced master 2D. We have beginner, intermediate 3D, and advanced master 3D. So incredible prizes that can be applied to anything on your site. Is that right?
Yes, we never allow things to go towards our blues.
Okay.
We actually are allowing it for this one.
Oh, wow.
So.
Wonderful. So think of that, people. So thank you, Deb. This is great. Always fun talking to you. I'm gonna move to my last slide and just ask Deb if she has anything else she wants to add um, to her discussion about Icing Images or to about the competition. And then if
Mhm.
not, I'll just recap with some ways to go about entering the competition.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about this competition, first of all, I sponsor because I believe in education and growth and success of everybody. And so taking this opportunity to better yourself, keeping focused on what you do, just like you said, Julia. Don't try to be somebody else. Be you. I think is to me a huge takeaway, and use it as a learning experience because it's not often that you get to be judged, or evaluated. I almost prefer that term.
Yes, I do
Um,
too.
with people who, such as yourself or other you have some amazing judges with a lot of knowledge, and they're giving you their tips and their suggestions and praising you as well for the things that you
Mm-hmm.
have done well.
Mm-hmm.
So use this as that opportunity for your own growth, taking yourself beyond what you think you can do, trying new things, and just really bettering yourself for where you're going in your industry. Don't look at the person next to you. Don't do any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that you can in this competition. It's not the same as if
Mm-hmm.
it was physical, but I encourage everybody. I don't care if you're new or total masters. Just compete because that's where you can do your growth. Don't be afraid. Oh, I'm not good enough. Never say that. That
Right.
if you say that, I'll yell at you. If you're watching this, you are interested in bettering yourself. And so this is the way to do that. Just put yourself out there. Nothing's going to happen. And as one of my good friends say, they're not going to take away your birthday if you mess this up. It's not going to be bad.
Yeah,
You're
you
going to
know
get
what? And
good.
I think the concept of messing it up is almost non-existent too, because
Right.
it's only exists in your head. Because
Yes.
I say this every competition. I so mean it. Like just getting an entry onto the virtual judging table, just getting it uploaded and submitted is like 99% of it. It's just that's it. Like having conceptualizing your entry from the theme, creating it and getting it there is so much. There's so much just to that. So I think everybody wins for having just pushed themselves to that extent. So
Yes, I agree 100%. So, yes, please join her competition, join it early because the more prepared you are and thinking this, the more you'll grow. Basically, you're not just slapping something together at the end.
right.
At the plan it out. It's just going to better yourself, and it's going to help you better your businesses. And you need to be proud of yourself when you do this. Like you got it there, yay, good job. It's not often that we can do that. You're too busy churning out orders. So
Right.
now this is turning your focus to you and your business, and that helps your customers and your business.
Yeah, and there's enough time, to do that in and around your business. It's not like you have to go cold turkey on work to get this done. So I appreciate all of that. I'm going to be talking in the next interview, which I'm filming, as I said, on Friday with Kelly Jane, who's the founder of Delicious Magazine. We'll be talking a lot about some of what Deb raised here about judging or evaluating, how our evaluation process works and what kind of feedback people get, because it truly is pretty extraordinary. As I said earlier, the benefit of being online is we have a lot more time to write the feedback forms. So I'll spend 2 to 3 weeks processing the judges' scores because they score everything, but they also provide a lot of qualitative feedback, like here's where you did really well, here's where you have room for improvement, and not only that, but like how might you improve that? They'll often offer up really concrete tips that are pretty priceless. I personally don't judge because I'm seeing all the entries coming in and we judge blind, so we don't know. That's the other thing. When we talk about a risk-free competition, none of the judges know whose entries are whose because I disguise all the names. I see them, so I don't judge. So we try to eliminate any kind of bias in that way. But nobody knows whose entry is whose until I announce it. So anyway, so that's a little preview of the judging process. Hopefully, Deb and I have piqued your interest in many things, Big Blue, the competition. And so I just want to close with a couple of tips about how to enter. It's pretty straightforward. But the first thing you want to do is read those rules in the competition overview. Again, the link will be under this video. It contains every single rule. It also contains a more detailed theme description to kind of get you thinking. This theme, Architect of Your Dreams, is very open to interpretation. You can be very literal about it. You can be much more conceptual about it. But read that theme description, read the description of 2D and 3D categories, read what qualifies as a beginner versus an advanced decorator. We've had some changes to rules over the last year. They're all highlighted in blue in that overview. So those of you who have entered before can quickly zoom in on what's new and different. I encourage you, as Deb just did, to register early on Eventbrite. You register on a different site than where the rules are just because I don't have the ability to collect money on Cookie Connection. So you have to jump over to Eventbrite. The link for registration is in the competition overview. Pay your fee. And the reason I encourage you to do that is not just because it helps me with planning, but because you will get access to what's called the online event page on Eventbrite, which has links to all the entry databases. And so you can jump into those databases, see what they look like, see exactly what materials you're going to have to submit. There's some work in process photos of various types, final photos, and one video that shows the whole project. And you want to look at that, I think, before you even start creating, just to make sure that as you go through the process, you're collecting all those things. And then just start creating. And as I said, have fun and focus on the learning aspect. Put those blinders on. Don't worry about what, cookie decorator A or B might be doing. I've already had some people reach out to me with concerns like that. Like, I'm not sure I'm good enough. I'm finally entering this year because it's your last one. And I've just been too chicken up until this point. And my response is there's nothing to fear. It should be fun.
Right.
And
if you're doubting yourself, message me, call me, let me talk to you.
So I hope that clarifies everything. If there are questions for me following this, if they're general competition questions, please put them under the competition overview post, because that way I can address everybody at the same time. If they're particular to your entry, email me privately. We do judge blind, so I don't like people asking questions about their entries in a public way on social media, just because our judges might see them. And I will be limited in terms of the direction I can provide, simply because I want everybody to have a fair shot at it. So I think that's it. So thanks again, Deb. So good to see you. I know we did. We did. We're over an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. It's just really nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you for this opportunity and for doing this for everybody. Really appreciate you.
You're welcome. I'll see you. We'll be in touch.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye.